day and welcome to the Opera Glasses podcast. My name is Michael Jones and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about competitions and young artists, focusing particularly on the Concours musical international de Montréal. It is happening this year between May 25th and June 6th, featuring singers this year. There are 24 competitors from 16 countries. And this year, the competitors include 4 Canadians, and we will be covering them all in Opera Canada over the coming weeks. I'm speaking with 2 of them today in Opera Glasses. This is my first 3-way broadcast, so I'm hoping this goes well. So I will be speaking with 2 today. The other 2 will be covered in the Artist of the Week feature on Opera Canada's social media feed, so make sure you're following us. Today, because there's 2, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. I'll go ladies first. Sophie Naubert is a current member of the Atelier Lyrique at l'Opéra de Montréal, and this year she had her European debut, singing the title role in Semele at Theater Lübeck in Germany. Sophie, what would you like to share about yourself with our audience?
Well, hi everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you. I'm from Gatineau, Quebec, and I moved to Montreal about 8 years ago to study voice. And I fell in love with opera when I was about 17 or 18. And I studied a lot of piano. I did a lot of theater and professional acting as a kid. And I did a lot of dance, and it just led up to opera because opera just combines every art form. So, and without even knowing that I was going to pursue an opera career. So I had a very great training starting as a kid to go into this path. And yes, I had my operatic European debut in Lübeck, Germany, and it was, I think, the best experience that I've ever lived in my life. I met amazing colleagues, and I'm very excited to be moving there in the fall as a fest singer.
So, that's very exciting, and you're allowed to announce that.
I am allowed, yeah, as of last week.
Congratulations! That's wonderful, Sophie.
Thank you very much.
Ihor Mostovoi, and he will correct me if I just said that wrong, although I was practicing. Ihor is a baritone. He is a Ukrainian Canadian. He studied at McGill University, and he's currently a member of the Young Artist Program at the Opéra National de Paris. So he is joining us this morning from Paris. Ihor, what would you like to tell us about yourself?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, to meet Michael, Sophie. And I was born in Ukraine, and then moved to Canada and did my studies at McGill and spent seven wonderful years in Montreal and became Canadian as well. And my path in music, I actually was brought into singing by passion about rock music and guitar. So originally I asked my parents to bring me into music school because I wanted to play guitar so much. And then one of the tests was singing, and apparently it went well, and teachers there said, why don't you come and make an audition for the voice department? And that's how I started singing. And then after some time, voice just took over. And then apparently McGill has very strong school, great teachers, great singers, and big music community. And then kind of became my motivation as well to pursue this career professionally. And at the moment, I'm at the Opéra de Paris, and this is a wonderful opportunity, and very happy to be here and progress in my journey as an opera singer.
And before we go on, I'm dying to ask, are you still playing guitar?
I'm still playing a little bit, not very frequently, but sometimes.
not on the streets of Paris to get
no, but I would. That's something I want to come back to and do more.
Okay, well, that sounds like a really lovely plan. Also, before we go forward, I should ask Ihor, do you still have family in Ukraine, and how are they doing right now?
Yes, I do. It's my mother and father. My parents are in Ukraine. They're in Odessa at the moment because originally we're from Mariupol, which is occupied. So they had to leave and they're staying in Odessa now. It's it's difficult, but we're striving and we're trying to keep positive, good spirits, and hopefully this will come to the end soon, and people will be able to live peacefully.
Well, thank you for being willing to share that with our listeners.
Thank you
So,
very much.
and our best wishes go out to your mother and father, and we hope that they are continuing to, let's just say, make it through and be healthy and find as much life as they can in Odessa, and that hopefully someday they will be able to return peacefully.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that. So, competitions play a major role in the career of young artists. As I look at it, one of my pleasures this year has been meeting a lot of emerging artists who represent the new generation, the next singers that we will be hearing for years and years. And as I read your bios, many of you talk a lot about competitions. Can you please share with our listeners why competitions are so important, why you enter them, and also maybe a little bit about how you choose which ones to enter?
Actually, I personally have just one reason why I do big competitions. It's for exposure. There are casting directors and agents who come from all over the world who come to listen to us, especially for the semifinals and finals. So it's mainly just for exposure. And even if a singer does not win or does not gain success in the competition, a casting director attending the competition might want to sign with them or offer a contract for the future. So it's always great for exposure, and contacts are everything in this industry. So that's my main and almost only reason why I do these.
And Ihor?
I think there's not a lot of things to add to what Sophie said, but I think it also can be a good motivation for growth, because you go for experience, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, and if you don't, you can re-listen to your recordings, see what you did, because always competition is also a performance, and in performances things go differently, and we can learn for future, in this kind of stress situation. When you put under the certain pressure, you can see how you act, how your body behaves, how your voice behaves, how your memory behaves, and I think it's a very good experience as well. In addition to exposure, in addition to being seen by casting directors, being seen by theater directors, and by agents, I think it's a very good uh, good option to put yourself under certain pressure and get some feedback.
Okay, that sounds very now it's I'm even feeling the pressure here. Why the Concours Musical International de Montréal? How did you light on that? Is it about the fact that you both have relationships with that city, or was there something that really drew you to this one in particular? I'll start with Ihor this time.
Well, Concours International de Montréal, it always was one of the competitions that I really wanted to do, and I applied several times, in fact, and this is or I think one or two times I applied, and this is the first time I made it. So, so I'm happy. I'm already happy with this result, and it was always a pleasure to see the high level that this competition brings, and the international community that it unites, because singers come from all over the places, and then of course the jury is always very professional, and for me it was one of my, I don't know, I don't want to say goals, but maybe goals, yeah, to try and take part in this competition.
That's interesting, and I don't want to interrupt you, Sophie, if you have anything to add, so I'm going to come to you in a second. But Ihor, you mentioned you'd applied to this before. I had been told by the people at the Concours that Sophie had, so I was intending actually to ask her about that. I know, Sophie, that the Concours Musical International de Montréal alternates between 3 disciplines. So they do piano, they do violin, and they do voice. And so voice is only every 3 years. So the last year must have been 2022. And I know, Sophie, that you applied at that time and also were not successful getting to these rounds. But you're back. Why? Maybe this is all tied together, but why do you come back? And the same Ihor can answer the same thing as well, but I'll start with you.
Well, I'm a big fan of the CMIM. The first year that I moved here, actually, when I was studying at the Conservatoire, there was the 2018 Voice Edition, and I was still very, very young. I was starting my undergrad, and I got tickets to see every single round from art song selection to the aria division. And I also saw all of the master classes for Université de Montréal students and Conservatoire students that they were offering as well. So I attended every single event because I felt so inspired. And I just loved how the competition was organized, how it was open to anyone. Anyone could just come in the afternoon and sit and listen to a master class with amazing masters coming from every part of the world. And I just felt so inspired. And sometimes my teacher would come along with me and she'd say, hey, look how she's so precise with her text. You should do that in this lead. And it was just amazing, an amazing moment for me in June. Like that whole month, I was just there the entire time. So of course I applied for the 2022 edition, if I'm not mistaken. I think they jumped a year because there was the pandemic. And I absolutely loved my experience doing the CMIM in 2022. The competition was so organized. If we had any questions or anything, they would always be there for us. They would answer our emails, our calls. And it was an amazing experience. Also, between competitors, there was no jealousy or competition vibe. It was just very friendly, and it was an amazing opportunity, and I learned a lot from preparing for an international competition. This was my first international competition. I think I was among the youngest of all the competitors, and I remember just having a blast and learning from all my competitors and learning about the mental preparation, the physical preparation, and the vocal preparation for a big competition. So I'm actually getting inspired by my younger self to prepare for this year's competition.
That's wonderful. Does the panel play a role in making decisions? This year's panel features it's chaired by Adrienne Pizanka, who is, I should say, as the Opera Canada editor, who is a former Ruby recipient from Opera Canada magazine. Adrienne is also an Order of Canada recipient. She is the chair of vocal studies currently at Glenn Gould School, but she also had a major international career. The jury this year includes senior staff at the Canadian Opera Company, as well as the opera companies in both Seattle and Chicago, and some incredible singers. In addition to Adrienne, there is Etienne Dupuis and Susan Graham and Carolyn Blackwell, who I will say I remember so well because I saw that she played Sir Constance the first time I ever saw Dialogue des Carmélites. Many years ago. So it's a really wonderful panel this year. Do you know who those people are in advance? Does that help you decide what and where to go to?
I mean, yes. I usually, as singers, will look at who is on the jury, and for example, in these competitions on the jury, there are a lot of people who I admire. So for me, it's a great opportunity to maybe get some feedback, advice, and be able to sing for them. They're very highly professional people and highly professional singers, and people who I saw on stage and who inspire me every time I see them on stage. So I'm very excited, and in general for competitions, I think most of singers look at who are the juries to just to know what kind of repertoire you can offer, or see, because people have different tastes and they've sang different repertoire, so that would give some kind of idea of what would be better for this or that competition. So I think it's important.
You give me such great segues. So let's actually talk a little bit about repertoire now. Sophie, can you talk a little bit about what you're singing and why you chose those things?
Yes. Well, I choose repertoire for competitions based on a few points. First off is my vocal theatrical strengths, and also the mood of each piece, like the emotional journey that I want to present to the audience, and also the repertoire requirements, which are out of my control, but I have to respect. For me, for example, my strengths are coloratura, a lot of theatrical pieces, like character pieces or party pieces, from my acting as a child. So I often go for like fiery coloratura bravura arias. So for my first round, I'm starting off with a semele aria, actually, that I've sung multiple times this year, which opens up early music, which is my forte, coloratura. And then second aria, I'm doing a Canadian piece, because for the first round we have to do a contemporary piece that was written after 1975. So I'll be doing a Kendra Harder piece, which is kind of like a Baroque pastiche aria, and it's very funny. It's in English, so it will show a bit of my another personality, more character, more acting. And then I'm finishing with Le Feu from L'Enfant et les Sortilèges by Ravel. So again, finishing with that big coloratura French, which is my mother tongue. So yeah, always go with my strengths.
So before I go to you, Ihor, I want to do a little shout out to Kendra Harder, who is a young emerging female composer from Canada, and she is based in Saskatchewan. And I like to tell people that things happen. I was the CEO of Sask Arts for many, many years, and so I became familiar with her work. Her work is really exceptional. So thank you for performing a young emerging woman composer. Ihor, what's on the plate for you?
Well, it depends, for lead part of the competition and for opera part of the competition, because, for example, for the melody and lead part of the competition, I was trying to choose more based on a theme. So I would build a program of the round depending on the theme. For example, my first round is based on water and fire, which is like eternal opposites, and so there are I'm singing Roadside Fire by Juan Williams. Then there's a Ukrainian song which is called The Boat, which is about water, but also in a lot of ways philosophical about life, because it compares the boat in the open water with the life of a person. And then another choice is Dia Feuerreiter, which by Hugo Wolf, which is one of my favorites, and always I'm having lots of fun when I'm singing that. And another one is La Vague et la Cloche by Duparc, which is also my other favorite composer. So, and the second round is the repertoire about the horror and splendor. So there are different songs that show either horrible situations and horror of the situations, for example, like Die Zwerg of Schubert. And another one is something about splendor, which is like also Epiphanie by Charles Coquelin, which is unknown piece, but it talks about very it talks about life, but in very I can say vague, but very like you don't really understand. The words are so poetic that you don't have a clear idea what exactly is going on, because it talks about the lakes and of the big figure of a guardian who guards the orange tree, who looks at the woman who passes on the lakes. And for me, like, every person can find their own explanation for the song, but for me, this is the guardian, the spiritual figures who watch the life going on the earth, and which is about splendor for me, which is about something nice and beautiful. So I was trying to base around the theme. And for opera, of course, it's different, because sometimes we can base our repertoire around the theme, but because we want to show so many things, and we try to show the biggest versatility also, but our strength also. So we have to be based on our voice and the character preference and vocal things that vocally are comfortable. So my repertoire was, for opera, was based basically on characters that I love, and what can I show with this or that aria.
And examples just from your opera rep?
Yeah, for example, for showing the agility of the voice, I chose, there are two arias in different rounds. The one is Sibilar from Rinaldo by Handel, and another one is Dandini from La Cenerentola. And then things that show more of a legato style and more of a line in the voice are Riele by Massenet, from Don Quixote, which is it's very character piece, but there's also a lot of places where you can show the line. Another one, I tried to also add something that is unknown, so I tried to add the Ukrainian aria, which is by Konstantin Dankevich, which is from opera Bogdan Khmelnytsky, and this is the monologue, which also has beautiful legato lines. And this is something that I might not be able to do as a role in next couple of years, but it shows my direction where I go.
That's interesting. And I'm coming back to Sophie with it, because you talked about Ihor just talked about, I'm maybe not ready to sing this right now, but this is the direction that he hopes he's going. I know you're starting with Semele, which is something that you've performed this year. Do you have any stretch arias in your rep for this, or are you really going with what you have completely got under your belt and have performed?
Actually, out of I'm talking about arias, out of the 9 arias that we have to prepare, I only have 3 arias that are really under my belt that I've performed and that I'm comfortable with. The other 6 are all fairly new. And I might say I still have to learn another aria this that I will do today. I promise myself. But it's fairly new repertoire, because I don't like to do older arias, because I tend to show my older habits, and as the voice develops and as you work and refine your vocal technique, you find that sometimes old repertoire might not work, and especially in a competition under pressure, singers often tend to go back to their old vocal habits. So I tried, this year I said I'm just gonna go with new repertoire, and I am doing some repertoire that I have never sung, and that's not coloratura, that I'm starting gently with. I have Steal Me Sweet Thief by Menotti, that's very lyric, very slow, which I'm not used to, and I'm really learning to get comfortable with it, which is a very fun process. And also the Sophie aria Ich bin euer Liebten from Rosenkavalier by Strauss. That's another stretch for me. Working those floaty high notes, working the legato, the slower lines. So that's a big challenge for me, but it's it's an amazing challenge. It's a very good problem.
That sounds very exciting. And I will come back while we're still on repertoire. I'm going to come back to Ihor and just say, and your Canadian aria, because I know it's required for this year's competition.
Yes, it's from the opera La Reine Garçon. And this is a very beautiful piece. And I'm actually feeling a little bit, I don't think if scared is a good word, but because on the jury there's going to be a TNGP who sang this role, and I think he created this role. And I would like to sing it in a good standard and make him proud to hear me in this music, if I can say like this. So, but
were you in Montreal when La Reine Garçon premiered?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately.
Okay,
but I wish I was.
That is really, really exciting. I'm going to give some details about the competition, and then because I'm conscious of everyone's time, I'm going to move into a speed round with the singers to end the day. And forgive me for referring to my notes, but there are a lot of details to give out. First of all, as Sophie was sharing, all of these rounds are open to the public, and please purchase your tickets. Go hear these young voices. Hearing voices in competition when they're at the very beginning of their career is one of the most exciting things that anyone who loves opera, who loves vocal music, can really enjoy. It's also a real treat to hear a competition that includes art song, because art song is a real gem in the repertoire and requires a very different approach. So it lets you hear singers do something that you might not as readily hear them do elsewhere. So please join. The first round, which includes both aria and art song, runs from May 25th to 29th. It leads up to the art song finale, which is on May 31st. The semifinals, the first round competitions will be held in the Salle Bourgie at the Musée des Beaux-Arts in Montreal. The semifinals are June 3rd and 4th at the Maison Symphonique de Montréal at the Place des Arts, with the finals to follow on June 6th. You can find out more information and you can get tickets at concoursmontreal.ca, let's just have some fun and move in. We do a speed round at the end of these just to learn a little bit more about these people, these singers as people. I think that's a great thing to do because it also lets us know that there are people behind the spectacular work that we see on stage, that it just is regular human beings doing these amazing things. So I'm going to go back and forth. Ihor, your favorite guilty pleasure food?
Dumplings. Any kind of dumplings.
Okay, that's very nice. And so, Sophie, I'll flip it on. I'm not going to ask you the same one so you don't have time to prepare. Your favorite drink?
Ooh, tea.
Tea. Lovely.
Yes.
And is it flavors? Is it herbals, or is it just straight?
Green tea. Any green tea.
Any green tea. That's
yes,
lovely.
I'm a huge fan.
Do you brew your own with the loose leaves? And
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have hojita, matcha, oolong, any tea. I have it in my apartment.
Okay. Ihor, what's the thing you do when you're preparing for a performance that gets you all revved up and ready? What is your routine?
I do some breathing exercises. I have some recording, and for 10 minutes, I breathe in, breathe out. There's this great thing which is called Wim Hof breathing routine, and it's on YouTube. Everybody can do it, but this really gets me calm and centered.
Okay, that's a really good approach. Sophie, the role in the future that you most dream about singing right now?
Ooh, Queen of the Night.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
That's because you want to have the two big arias and then just stay off stage the rest of the time.
Yeah, do some emails during the opera. Yeah, pay my
go back to another hit and then go back to your computer.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question, Ihor. What's your dream role?
Wow, I really like opera Falstaff, so I would say Ford, and the short term Dandini.
Short term is Dandini, but Ford
Yeah.
in the longer term. Are you
In the longer term, yeah.
are you doing any Verdi yet? Are you starting with some lighter Verdi, or?
I have in the competition rep. I have Rodrigo's Destin, so I'm starting little by little, but I'm trying to be very careful.
Good for you. Good for you. Sophie, what's the best advice anyone ever gave you?
Stay in your lane.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And was that a vocal teacher, or was that just?
It was actually a sports psychologist that works at the Atelier Lyrique. He gives us one-on-one coachings, and just he once mentioned, stay in your lane. Don't think of whatever other people may think, or don't think of exterior judgment. Just keep on going. Trust yourself. If you know that your process works, just keep going. And every path is different. Everyone has a different career path and wants different things in life. So you just do you. Keep going. Yeah.
Now, for the one more question for each of you, so I'll do something that's a little pop culture, just for fun. Guitar player Ihor, what do you listen to that's not classical? What's your favorite thing to listen to musically?
I listen to rock music. Still listen to it. So I listen to things like Iron Maiden and like music like this.
The metal, the hard rock.
Yes.
That's
But a lot of popular music too. I mean, a lot of pop music. It's always I'm like. I like with food. I like a lot of food, like music too. I like a lot of music, so I listen to everything.
And I will end with Sophie, a movie you saw recently that you really loved.
I saw Game Night. That was really nice with Rachel McAdams that I saw on the plane a week ago. It was very nice. Very fun. Action and crime and comedy at the same time.
Okay, well that's perfect. You see, the speed round is very easy. I would like to thank both of you for taking time out of your preparation to join us today, to tell us about the competition, to tell us about yourselves, and to let us meet you. Now, is there any place online, I'll come to Ihor first, where people can go and hear recordings of you?
I mean, on the best place is my Instagram account. There are some recordings there.
What is your Instagram account, Ihor?
It's Ihor Mostovoi, so it's like my name, but all together and with H, Ihor.
Ihor.
So, yeah.
I will just so everyone has it, IHOR MOSTOVOI.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
And Sophie, where can people go to hear some more of you?
Well, like Ihor on Instagram, I have 2 videos, I think, on my website and on YouTube. You can just Google my name, Sophie Naubert.
Sophie Naubert, that's Naubert, which was not so hard because it's actually written in front of me on the screen. So thank you so much for taking the time to join me. I hope that our listeners, that the Opera Canada podcast, Opera Glasses, that our listeners go and check out more. And I hope that as many as possible are able to come and hear you in Montreal. Thank you so much. Once again, this has been Michael Jones for the Opera Glasses podcast. I've been speaking with Sophie Naubert and Ihor Mostovoi, who are 2 of the competitors in the Concours Musical International de Montréal at the end of May and beginning of June. Thank you for taking your time to listen to us, and please join us again.